What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another day in Car Mechanic Simulator with me, the Virtual Mechanic. And today's project, yes, the Mercedes-Benz Remastered DLC is finally here. And today we're going to be working on this beautiful little Pagoda. But we do also have another Mercedes in the shop. That's two of the new ones. This is the 560 SEC, looking pretty beautiful. Brand new engines for all five new Mercedes in this one today. This one's got the V8 M117 with 389 factory horsepower, and it looks pretty good in there, if I do say so myself. Beautiful looking car, this one. In fact, we are all loving the Mercedes. I say we are all. I'm speaking for everybody there, and I shouldn't. I am definitely loving the Mercedes DLC, and I cannot wait to get stuck into this and have a lot of fun. Let's go outside and see what else we've got. We've also got this beautiful little beast here. This is the 500e, looking fantastic. Another brand new engine with a V8 M119 in there, 326 factory horsepower on that one, and that one's looking awesome. It's got white head covers on there at the beginning. The block's looking a little black, and you've got some Mercedes covers on top of the engine with little clips, which means we can paint them alternating colors. That'll be cool when we come to it. Next up, we've got the Gullwing, one of my absolute favorite cars of all time. This is dream car material, shy of the Mustang inside. Nothing will ever take away from that Mustang. This is the next dream car, but this is the unattainable dream car. Absolutely beautiful Mercedes-Benz Gullwing. Love this car. It is so cool. Not keen on the red and yellow color scheme currently on it. We'll probably be changing that. But again, another brand new engine in this one. This one's got the i6 M186, 250 horsepower on this one. And if we just open it up, looking pretty good with the covers, the manifolds on there going in and across. Engine at a lovely slanted angle, looking absolutely stunning in there. Cannot wait to get stuck into this. And then last but not least, from the Mercedes DLC, we've got the SLS AMG. This is my modern favorite car, or at least the most modern of my dream cars. Top three would be this one, and the lovely Mustang just inside. This is absolutely beautiful. I love this car. This is the worst condition out of all the cars we've got here today, but it does have another brand new engine. It is the V8 M159 with 558 factory horsepower. Sadly, we can't see it because this block is almost entirely missing. Well, the block is obviously there, but the rest of the engine is entirely missing. Another new drive shaft tunnel to come in this one as well, with the AMG branding on it like that. And a new rear-mounted gearbox, looking pretty awesome. This is what we're going to be working on for the next little while, and I definitely cannot wait. I love a Mercedes-Benz, and well, they make some pretty cool stuff. But on to today's project, which is the beautiful little Pagoda. This is what we're going to be working on today. Let's just talk a little bit about this one. Again, it is another brand new engine with the i6 M130, 169 factory horsepower on this one. I'll be honest, I don't see this one tearing up the drag strip with that little engine. But it is quite a cool looking engine. The block's in a black from factory, and I think that looks pretty sweet. It's not quite black. It's like a dull grey. Very, very dark grey, but it's looking absolutely incredible. Very, very pleased with that one. Looking great, and I cannot wait to get stuck into these. Let's just talk a little bit more about the beautiful Pagoda. Did I get a good deal? And I can tell you the answer is no. I got massively ripped off on this one. 99,475 is what I paid, and I could only sell it for 73,559, losing out on 25,916. That's a lot of money. A quarter of what we paid for it, we've lost before we've even started, which is a bit of a shame. So we're definitely going to have to try and work this one back. Although I don't see it destroying the drag strip. We'll have to see what drag rating we end up with at the end, because that's quite a low horsepower, but it is looking very beautiful. And I really got to admit, I'm loving this black and white color combination. It probably is going to stay like this with the chrome work on there looking pretty good. And engine opens the other way. And some chrome on the engine. I think that'll look pretty fantastic. But let's get this Pagoda started. We need to get it over to the car wash, get it cleaned up, and let's begin. Here we are then in the car wash with the Pagoda. Let's get it cleaned. It's not in too bad condition. It's just feeling a little bit sorry for itself, but it is always nice to give it a full clean before you get started. So let's crack on. We've got the interior to do. There we go. Then we'll get it back on the lifter, rip that engine out, and start tearing everything down. It's all cleaned up and ready to go. Let's get underneath and check for that beautiful oil pan. There is a big old oil pan right there. So let's get all of the oil drained out of our lovely little Pagoda. Very clean. I didn't even check how many miles or kilometers were on this one, but that was incredibly clean oil. I'm just going to have a quick check now. 140,000 kilometers, very well looked after then by the judge of that. Is it four-wheel drive? It is not. It is just rear-wheel drive only. So we need to get started with this drive shaft. So out you come here. Loving the exhaust running through front to back there. That looks pretty cool. One rusty bolt on the drive shaft. So let's get you out. Now, where is our little friend the starter? Just hiding over here. Out you come. And then out with this lovely little gearbox. Nice and easy. I do think we should probably grab some of the exhaust just to make sure that's engine bay only. So that should be all right. In fact, is that only two pieces of the exhaust? There really is only two pieces of the exhaust, so both of them are out. There we go. Let's get that engine ripped out of there and see what we've got going on inside the engine bay for the lovely little Pagoda. Over we go. Let's get you opened up. I forgot it was the wrong way, but never mind. Oh, no. First remove the exhaust manifold. I do have to take off the manifold, which means I need to take off this. Out with the hose. Out with the throttle. Is that the right piece? Am I reading that wrong? I think I have read that wrong, but never mind. Out you come as well then. And let's see what that does. I think it might be this that we need to take out. So we'll rip you out as well, just to be on the safe side. Now let's try again and pull you out. There we go. That was a lot better. So let's get the crane put away and see what's going on inside the engine bay. We've got the big old radiator there. That needs all the liquids draining from it, along with the power steering reservoir, the wishy-washy reservoir, and the brake servo. Then we've got a battery and a fuse box off with the lid. Loads of fuses in there, looking pretty good. Is that everything at the front? I believe so. Obviously, the air filter we just took out. We didn't even actually take that out. We just took out the tubing that goes with it, but never mind. It came out. Jump down the back. What else have we got? Just the fuel tank and the fuel pump, I believe. Just make sure. Yes, it is. We already took the exhaust out. So let's get some liquids drained. If I could get down the front again. There we go. Lovely little spot just here where I can see everything. Right-click, additional tools, drain tool, click and hold, and it'll drain everything out. We're going to get everything stripped, and then we'll work on the bodywork. Well, that's everything repaired, replaced, or upgraded, ready to go back in to our Pagoda mechanically wise. But we do need to sort this bodywork out, so let's get it all stripped off. Off you come, out you go there. Is that part? No, that's part of the radiator. Front fender? No, just the door and the windshield on there. Side skirts? No. Left bay window? That's massive. Rear window, out you come there as well with the trunk. Rear bumper and lights. We'll grab that plate as well while we're there. Otherwise, we will forget it. Anything else on there? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Out with the rear window and out with the door. And I think that might be everything, apart from these beautiful new seats, that is. Let's get these on out of here. Out you come. Out you come, and out with that lovely new steering wheel as well. And that should be everything, but we will double check. 1% on there, and nothing showing up on there. Fantastic. Frames at 60%, and I spent 100,000 more than I should have on it. Not quite, but there we go. So 100,000 on it. So I'm going to say, what am I going to say? I'm not going to go too high. I'm only going to go 1,500. 2,000, not far off. Not far off at all. Let's jump in to this shop. Just the normal bodywork station at Mercedes Pagoda. And that's everything you can get for it. That is everything like-for-like replacement. We just go back to the body tuning shop. There are no Mercedeses in here. Mercedes in here at all. Which is a bit of a shame. No extra bonus parts for them today. Just what comes with them. Still pretty cool. We need to get ours all back together. Then head over to the paint shop and check out the kind of liveries that they've included with the Mercedes-Benz DLC. Time to get the little Pagoda all back together. As I said, nothing was replaceable, so let's just get it all back as it was. I managed to repair a lot of it. I did have to buy a few new bits like headlights and windows. Headlights, taillights, and windows. But apart from that, I managed to repair all of the normal parts. So let's get them all back on. There's the door. We've got the big old... These windows are massive, but I kind of love them a little bit. In with the mirror as well. Just the left side mirror. The right side, it doesn't have one on this lovely little car. In we go, and in we go. So don't think that's missing when you're building this. Just isn't there. Not needed. Rear window, in you go. Then we've got the lovely little trunk and some tail lights. In you go, along with the rear bumper. That should be everything. I can't see anything else. We get the plates on. Just my VM plates with Pagoda on them in the centre. Looking pretty good there. We'll get the front ones on. In you go. And then we'll get this lovely interior in as well. Brand new seats as well. So we've got new Pagoda seats to go with this lovely one. They're looking fantastic. And a brand new steering wheel on top of that as well. Looking beautiful. I do believe they all have new seats and new steering wheels. I'm not 100% on that. We will confirm as we go over the next week and a little bit. So there we go. I think that's everything. Double check it. 100%, 100%, 100%. Fantastic. Let's get this one over to the paint shop and check out the liveries and see what we're going to do with this one today. Here we are then in the paint shop with our little Pagoda, currently sat in a white. Let's have a look at some of the factory colours. Not really a big fan of any of these so much as it is. I do like the black and white though. I'm really liking that combination. So I think we're going to stick with that for a minute. But let's see some liveries. What have we got to go with this lovely Pagoda then? Slot number 1 is a white stripe. Actually pretty good for the colour theme. We said we wanted to go for the black and white. White stripe with a lovely Mercedes-Benz logo in the middle. Off-centered stripe. I quite like that. Not quite central, but still pretty sweet. Very cool looking livery there. Slot number 2 is the same, but in a grey. Can we just get a bit of colour on this? Oh, it's a black, not a grey. Well, it's not quite a black. I'd say that was a grey. So, yeah, I liked the black body a little bit more. Slot number 3, I think we might be back to a white. Just the Mercedes-Benz logo in the middle there. Slot number 4 is going to be that grey one, is it? So we whack it to white. Looks a bit blacker. There we go. Anything else? No, just those 3, 4. Definitely liking this. We need to go back to white. Black even, sorry. I think that's what we're going to stick with. Am I going to keep it gloss? I don't want the metallic. Pearl was quite nice. Maybe we'll go with a pearl on this one today. I think we're going to go for a pearl finish on there. That's looking quite good in black and white. That is what we're going to go for. I'm going to keep all the interior as it is because it looks fantastic in there. As regards to that engine, it's going to be black, white, and chrome. Maybe not that much white. Maybe just black and chrome. We will see. It does depend, actually. I didn't pay that much attention to how the engine bay was. So let's get that open very quickly and see what colour it is in there. Very, very black. So maybe we'll go with a predominantly white and chrome engine on there with a few splashes of black for good measure. That should look pretty cool. And I think keeping a lot of the chrome or silvers on the underneath because we're definitely going to keep them wheels as they are. I don't think they're going to be painted. They look pretty good in their silver. That's the plan. Whether I stick with it or not, it's a totally different story, but at least we have a plan. So let's get this little beast back on the lifter. I need to get everything painted and then we'll start getting it all back together. That's everything painted, ready to go back on our little Pagoda. Let's get some shocks together. Over we go. We got some lovely white shocks, black springs and white caps up the front. Looking pretty good on there. Quite pleased with them. Let's get it off and start getting some of this onto the car, though. So for the front cross member in a lovely little white. And we'll just get these bushings in now to make sure I don't forget them. In you go and in you go there. Then we got the steering rack. Now, this is a chromed colour, but not a forced chrome with a quality of life. Just a normal white chrome on there. Then the front sway bar is a quality of life forced chromed. Looking pretty good. And the inner tie rod is a quality of life forced chrome as well. Front steering knuckles in a pearl white and the outer tie rods just in a tiny little black there. Both the upper and lower suspension arms are in the lovely little black. In you go and in you go up there. And then we'll get that shock in to see how good that black and white shock looks against all of that there. Pretty good if I do say so myself. Lovely little white and black combination with the sway bar end link in that force chrome colour there, looking good. Also, the front axle cover is in a force chrome along with the front wheel hub. In you go there. They look very chromy, but no detail to them. But they are going to be covered up, so it won't matter. In with the bearing, and then we got a brake disc ventilated. Lovely little black hub on there. Brake pads, and then the brake calipers. What colour do you think today? I think you might be wrong, unless you said pearl red. There we go. Gone for something a bit different with them today. Loving a bit of pearl red on there. That's the front half all sorted out, ready to go. Let's get down the back and see what we got going on down here. The rear drive axle is in the pearl white, matching the front. But then the spring caps are in black because they sit on the white with, if I could click and hold, there we go, with white springs and a black cap on there. Rear shocks in a white, matching the plastic parts of the front. So we keep some colour coordination going in there, looking pretty good. Solid axle control arm, words, in a lovely little black with the leaf spring plate in white and the 2 U-bolts both in a black there, looking pretty good. Separating all the colours enough. Lots of black and white and a couple of splashes of chrome. Nothing too over the top. In we go with the rear knuckle in a black and then the hub in a chrome and also the drive axle in that chrome. The same as the front there. Looking very, very good. On with the brake disc. In with the brake pad and then that lovely pearl red brake caliper on there. Just finishing that one off. I don't know if the rims that are on it, you're going to be able to see the red, maybe a tiny little bit because I am keeping these Mercedes rims. Let's get on. A fuel tank in you go in the black and the fuel pump in a lovely little solid white on there, not pearl white. But there we go. I'm going to crack on, get the other half done. Then we'll move on to the engine bay before we go and build that beautiful engine that is very black, white and chrome. There we are then, all finished with the suspension on our Pagoda. Looking beautiful in black, white, red, and a bit of chrome in there as well, just for good measure. But we need to get on and get the engine bay sorted. Now, one thing I will point out is this air filter right here. You can put this in now, but I believe if you put this in now, when you go to drop the engine in later, it will think the engine is already in. So don't do that now. Save that until when you build the engine. Plus, it looks pretty good on there. Brake servo on you go. Then we got the wishy-washy reservoir just down here. Power steering reservoir in you go with a lovely little battery. And then we've got the radiator C. Now, this looks like it's white or chrome, but it's kind of just in its base color, because I couldn't get it to go chrome without losing all of the details, and I didn't want that. And, well, I didn't want it black, which was the only real color option there. So we've left it in its kind of normal color. Tried to put an extra bit of silver on it, but it didn't really work. But it still looks good. The reason I didn't want it black is because you can see it through the grille there, and I love that in a lovely chrome piece. But without losing all the details, you can't do it, which was a bit of a shame. I would have loved that in white or a full chrome without losing the detail. Would have been awesome. But that's it for the engine bay, obviously apart from that air filter. But we will come to that with the engine in just a moment. So let's go and get in here. We've already got the block on and the filter, the oil pan underneath. You can see where the air filter sits just here. And that's where it goes. It gets built in with part of the engine. So let's get started. We're going to start with the oil filter under here in a lovely little white. We've also got the fuel filter up here, also in a lovely little white. Power steering pump in the white, looking good. Then we've got a water pump up here, also in the white. There's a lot of white on this black block. Then the alternator is in a lovely little white as well. And the crankshaft pulley's in a black, just to throw you off a little bit. There we go. Looking pretty good on there. We've got the water pump pulley to go in. Can we do belts now? We can indeed. Can we get both of them? We can. We will get all the belts on, and then that big old white fan on there as well, just for good measure. There is one more piece left to go on the front, which sits just here. In fact, there's two. There's a cam gear to go in there and a plate that goes over the top. So we'll come to that in a bit. But let's get this engine head on. This is fully blacked out. None of the red pieces even show up with this one. Bit of a shame. Would have loved it if all the red stayed. Would have been cool. But it gets covered anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But we do have some innards to go in here. We've got 6 spark plugs all down the side. We've got 4 camshaft caps down the middle. And then we've also got 12 rocker arms in there as well that we need to get all in. So I'm going to crack on and get all of them in, and I'll be back in just a second. There we go. All of the rocker arms, camshaft caps, and spark plugs all in. Now we can get the camshaft itself in with the cam gear on the end there. And then we should be able to get the timing chain on. In you go. And then a secondary timing chain sprocket. Sorry, not a cam gear down here. Along with the ignition and distributor cover in that lovely white. The last piece to go on the front there. Not including the actual ignition distributor. With the rotor and the cap. So there's black, white, black on there. And we've kept the clips in a black as they're more visible on the white part there. Looking pretty good so far. Very pleased with this. Not actually got that much left to go. So let's get the mechanical fuel injection in. In you go there. We've kept that one just in its normal chrome color with the red cabling going around. Looking pretty good. And then obviously our ignition wires are also in a pearl red on the top there. This isn't colored at all. This is how it comes with the performance parts. These cables have got a pearl red finish on them. Engine head cover is in a pearl white. Looking pretty good on there. And you can still see them lovely Mercedes logos looking pretty shiny on the top. Then we got the intake manifold in you go. Now, I took this bit off at the beginning. You didn't actually need to. This could have stayed on along with all of this. So I didn't need to take any of this out. Throttle in you go in a lovely white. The only thing you have to take out is the exhaust manifold, which sits under there and can only go in when it's in the engine. Air filter base in a lovely little white. Then we've got our performance air filter in there and the air filter cover also in white with a little hose here in the black separating them up. And also a little black clip down here just for good measure. And that is it, my friends. This beautiful engine ready to go back in our Pagoda. All finished in a black, white, red and chrome. Same as the suspension. That doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to grab some pictures. We'll get this one dropped in. Then we'll get it outside in the sun and see what this one's like to go over to the drag strip. Time to get this little beast of an inline 6 dropped into our Pagoda. I'm hoping it's going to look pretty awesome for the first of the Mercedes Remastered DLC. So let's get you in. In you go. And put the crane away. That's looking pretty smart, actually. Especially with the chroming on the front. Blending in with that chrome in there. I love that. That is looking beautiful. Very pleased with that. Maybe we shouldn't have done the block in a full black. It's a bit hard to see there. But it looks absolutely stunning. Very, very pleased with that. Let's get you closed up. Get you up in the air. We've got some exhaust A little bit of drive shaft, gearbox and a starter to go in. So let's get up at front and start with them if I could. There we go. Try that. Gearbox, in you go. Now this is a white, but I've turned the brightness down. Otherwise it would be way too bright to match in with all the other white in there. Then we got a lovely little starter in here, also in the white, blending off of that black block. Drive shaft is in a forced chrome, looking pretty good on there. In we go, and in we go. Now, there's the real comparison is because I haven't done anything to the exhaust. This has to be done in the engine bay. I should have remembered that. But the exhaust is all chromed out, but it's just in its base color, and that really matches that forced chrome. That's looking pretty good on there. In with the... Oh, jumping around. In with the rear piece on you go. Looking pretty spectacular. Just need to get that exhaust manifold in the engine bay, so let's get it back down on the ground for a second. Down we go. I can't believe I forgot about it after I mentioned it whilst building the engine like 30 seconds ago. It was a bit longer than that, but never mind. Exhaust manifold, in you go in your normal chrome colouring. Same as the intake manifold on there. Looking very, very good. Very pleased with that in there. Looking beautiful. Let's get you all closed up. I need to get the wheels done. Probably going to be very similar to what came on it. Might not be exactly the same, but we'll see them in a moment. Get some windows tinted, get all the liquids topped up, and I'll see you outside. Well, here we are then, all finished with our shiny little Pagoda. Mercedes-Benz DLC out now, looking awesome. Loving that. And this Pagoda looks absolutely fantastic in black and white, even with this livery on there. Looks absolutely amazing. The engine in black, white, red, and chrome looks absolutely fantastic. Very, very pleased with that. Looking beautiful. Let's talk about these rims. These are the Pagoda rims. I kept them as they were, except I finished them in a chrome. They've normally got a bit of a matte finish to them. I kept them in chrome this time, looking fantastic on there, matching in with all this trim work. The front rims here, these are a 15-inch rim with 195 width and a 65 profile on there, filling out the wheel well, just nice enough. A little bit bigger than what came on it as standard. They start as 14s and a little bit thinner, I believe, but a bit of a bigger profile. So there we go. We changed that a little bit. The rear ones are a slightly different size again, but only ever so slightly. Still a 15-inch rim, but these are 205 width instead of a 195, and still a 65 profile on there. Looking fantastic. Also got to jump in and look at all the suspension underneath. Looking beautiful. Very pleased with this one. Looking fantastic. The first of the Mercedes-Benz DLC. Let's jump inside, check out these brand new steering wheel and a brand new Pagoda seats in here with all this white trim, looking beautiful, black and white on the dashboard. It really does fit, and that would work. Just up on the dash and down in the central console there, looking amazing. But let's get this brand new one started with a brand new engine and see what it sounds like. Bit spaceshipy. Got a bit of mean, a bit of grunt at the top end there. Nothing like the V8s and the V10s and the V12s, but it still sounds pretty good for a Mercedes-Benz. Let's get this little beast onto the dyno, see what our horsepower is today, and interestingly, what this little one's drag rating will be. Here we are then on the dyno with the Mercedes-Benz Pagoda and its i6 M130 engine. Only 169 factory horsepower on this one today. How much have we added with performance parts, and what is this beast's drag rating? A gain of 92 horsepower, 55%. Not bad, a very small, low-powered engine. Bringing our measured power up to 260 horsepower and a drag rating of D, 153, I believe. Possibly the lowest we've ever had, or probably will experience for quite some time. But there we go, that's what we've gone for. Let's have a look at the gearbox tuning setup for today. There she is. Not done much to this one. A 2.75 ratio, 65 kilometers an hour in first gear, up to 266 kilometers an hour in fourth gear. Probably won't need a lot more than that. This one does not have an ECU or a carburetor, so no more additional tuning. That is what it is. Let's get this one over to the drag strip and try our absolute hardest to win a tournament with this little Pagoda. Here we are then, back at the drag strip with our Mercedes-Benz Pagoda. Probably the lowest power we're going to have in the drag strip for the foreseeable future, I reckon. King of the Sands, though, 1 mile, and we're going to enter into D class because there's no way this is going to do anything decent in A class. Only a 400 credit entry fee, so not too bad. Let's get you paid. And who have we got? Killers in here in the Smith & Parker Roadster. Loving that. Who else have we got in here today then? Country Thang in a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. Nice little G-Wagon. King Slowpoke in a 370Z at Nismo. And that's about it. Nice little range of things, bit different. Our first race is against the Bolt Cape Mark 7. Let's get into it and see what we can do with this Pagoda. Here we are then with our first opponent, the Bolt Cape Mark 7. Looking pretty sleek there, sedan body against our beautiful looking black and white Mercedes-Benz Pagoda. Can we beat it? These are going to be quite long. These are all pretty slow. So let's get on with it. Let's go. Off the line with the little Pagoda, holding its own into second gear. Where is the Bolt Cape? Did we just leave it on the line? I don't believe it. We absolutely demolished the first opponent. Left it on the line. Is he ever going to catch us? I don't know. While we take our lovely Sunday drive on this perfectly straight road, casually just admiring the view. Look at all them beautiful windmills in the background. The building on the left-hand side. I forgot to change gear. Terrible at this, really. Let's keep going. I don't think that Bolt Cape's ever going to catch us. Lovely little bridge there. There's the grandstand for the finish line, and we've just got to get over it and see what times we've got. Let's have a look then. Not our quickest by an absolute long shot. Did we? Absolutely. It didn't even finish. That is insane. I am very, very surprised by that. But there we go. Quarter of a mile in a 14.361 seconds. 1 mile in 37.141 seconds with a top speed of 214 kilometers an hour. I think we could have done a little bit better than the top speed, but I forgot to change gear. I was too busy taking in the sights. Let's get into the next one and see who we're up against. Well, Killer, a.k.a. Pi Newton, is still in the Smith & Parker Roadster. Loving that. King Slowpoke is also still in his 370Z. And Nismo knocking out Country Thang in the G-Wagon. Our next race is against the Jurassic Park Employee Transport Jeep Wrangler. Hopefully we should be able to beat that one. Not necessarily known for speed, but then neither is the Pagoda. So let's just get on with it. The Jurassic Park Employee Transport Jeep number 12 from Jurassic Park, looking pretty good on the start line. We should be able to beat this, but I'm really not sure. So let's go. Let's find out. Does take a little while to get down the other end of the drag strip in these D-Class vehicles. They are a little bit slower than definitely what we're used to on this channel. But we had to get these Mercedes done. Mercedes done at some point. I think we've left the Jurassic Park Employee Transport Jeep way back on the start line. Let's just carry on and get this Pagoda down to the other end of the drag strip. Get on with this tournament, because this might take just a little while. But still, there is some lovely views around here, though. Let's give it that. That sunset over there looking absolutely stunning. And then, obviously, the windmills to our left, or the wind turbines. And there's the grandstand, and across the line. What times have we got on this run? Any better than our first run? We got a better top speed, but I was pretty confident of that anyway. So 14.417, not as good to the quarter of a mile. 36.835, definitely better to the 1 mile. And a top speed of 218 kilometers an hour. Better, but again, the Jurassic Park Jeep did not finish, and our ratings were not that far apart. 153 to 151. Pretty close match. Let's get into the next one. Sadly, King Slowpoke got knocked out there, but we're up against the Plymouth Roadrunner GTX next, which did bleat the 370Z Nismo, and that was pretty good, so we shall see. Killer's still in the Smith & Parker Roadster against the Salem Spectre Fastback. Who's going to be in the final? Will we even make it against the Plymouth Roadrunner? Let's find out. Plymouth Roadrunner looking pretty good there in that dark green with the black racing stripes going across the hood there, looking pretty sweet. Not quite as cool as our Pagoda. I don't know how I feel about this one as to whether we're going to win, so let's just find out. Let's get going. We did make it off the line. Is that Plymouth going to pull away from us? I'm half expecting it to. It is already. There she goes. Are we going to be able to keep up with it, though, and maybe even take the lead? I reckon that's probably got a bit longer legs than we have. Bit of a higher top speed from the Plymouth Roadrunner. This could be our final race, which would be a bit of a shame, but it is what it is. Come on, little Pagoda, though. We're going to top out. We're going to beat it. Come on. Start jumping forward. I'm jumping forwards in my chair, and it's not achieving anything, so I'm going to stop that now. Let's just get this little Pagoda across the line. It's probably good that we only do 3 races and 4, considering they're a lot longer in this a little bit slower car. There we go, across the line. Is this going to be any better than our second run? Well, no, our first run was better to the quarter of a mile, so we'll go with that one. A 14.471, definitely not better. Our first run was our quickest to the quarter of a mile. 36.899, not quite as good as our second run, and the top speed exactly the same. But sadly, we did lose. We are out Is Pi still in? Is he going to make it to the final? And is he going to win? Let's go find out. Well, Pi has made it to the final with the Smith & Parker Roadster up against that Plymouth Roadrunner GTX. It would be nice if we could watch these races every now and then, just for a bit of fun. We're going to make 900, which actually leaves us with 500 after we take off our entry fee. But we did go out in the third round, so it's not too bad. But let's see if Killer can win this last race. There we go. Killer didn't win, sadly. The Plymouth Roadrunner that knocked us out also knocked out the Smith & Parker Roadster, which was driven by Pi. But we took 900 credits minus our entry fee of 400. Leaves us with a tasty little profit of 500 before we even start. It's a bit of a start to help claw back that almost 25,000 we were down from the beginning. Well, here we are then, all finished with that beautiful Pagoda, looking absolutely stunning in that black and white combination there. Very pleased with it. Few splashes of red on the engine and in the suspension, but nothing too special, but looking very, very good. Very pleased with this one, and 33rd on the speederboard, which is also dead last, but not far off. It's, you know, the next closest one. They're not far off each other, so it's not too bad at all, in all honesty. But yes, it is dead last on the speederboard, but I was kind of expecting that. So there we go. Those who stuck around for long enough at the beginning will know I bought this car for 99,475 and could sell it at a loss of 25,916, which was pretty bad. But we've since spent loads of money upgrading, modifying, and modifying and tuning. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. This beautiful little Pagoda right here. Getting it to where it is today, how you see it, looking absolutely fantastic. But it is looking awesome nonetheless. Our total spend is 146,522, which means we did pit 47,047 credits worth of parts on this beautiful little Pagoda. Looking fantastic. Can we make a profit from this one, though? There is only one way to find out. And let's get in and let's take a look. Here we are then, taking a look at the facts and figures. All 100% complete. Looking pretty awesome. We just go into here. The engine tuned up to 260 horsepower. A tuning increase of 55%. Obviously from 169. It's not too bad, in all honesty. Definitely one of the slowest cars we've done here on the channel. But can we make a profit? Total spend of 146,522. Whoa, with a profit of a sale value of 180,888. All of the eights right there, in case you're wondering. Does leave us with a nice little profit of 34,366. Definitely very glad about that. Take our little bit of winnings from the drag tournament of 500 credits. Does leave us with a profit of 34,866 for the little Pagoda. New DLC out now, a random Thursday video, because this was the release day. So we decided to do one for it. We will be back tomorrow with another one, so don't worry about that. But it's time to say goodbye to our Pagoda. Off you go. And then what have we got up next? If we look over here, we've got another brand new Mercedes. Shock horror. This is the 560 SEC. Looking pretty good. We got it from the auction house. Again, it's from the semi-decent side. Everything above 60% on there. Not looking too bad. Brand new engine in the V8 M117 engine with 389 factory horsepower. A lot more than we ended up with today. So this should be something a bit different for tomorrow's video. Sounds weird saying tomorrow's video, but there we go. Did we get a good deal? We didn't. Almost exactly the same. Is there something wrong with these Mercedes? 92,040 is what I paid and could only sell it for 67,299, losing out on almost 25,000 again, which is a bit bizarre, but there we go. That is what it is. But that is it. That's the end of today's video. I do hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, please consider clicking that subscribe button, leaving a comment, leaving a like. Let me know what you think of today's builds, future builds, and what we should do with the remaining DLC cars. We are trying to get up to 500 subscribers by the 19th of February, also known as my birthday, that date. If we can get there, it'll be absolutely epic. We're going to build a drag strip fire truck. It's going to be cool. If you can subscribe, please do. If you can't, totally get it. But it is free, and it's the best way to support the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have an excellent day, whatever it is you're getting up to. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.